Welcome to the Workplace Wellbeing Essentials Expert Interview Series. My guest today is Rochelle Seltzer. Rochelle inspires creativity in others in her roles as a coach, a speaker, and an author. She's worked in a variety of industries as a graphic designer, including over 25 years in her own highly successful graphic design firm. Rochelle, welcome. I'm delighted to have you here with me today.
It's my pleasure, Lauren. Thank you for inviting me.
Great. So we're going to talk a little bit about creativity today.
Yep.
So when you talk about creativity, how do you describe it?
I'll just start by saying that I believe that most people have no idea really what creativity is.
Okay.
People have a very limited concept, and they don't know that until they harness the power of creativity in their lives, they're shortchanging themselves in big ways, because we are all artists. I truly believe that. Some of us write or sing or dance or make music. Some of us create with food or plant gardens. Some of us are builders, designers, inventors. Some of us create relationships. Some of us are visionaries, and we create visions that move masses of people in amazing ways. So I really think that people, I'm hoping that people will appreciate that they are creators and
Love it.
accept that, embrace that, because I want to teach people to have a creative orientation to their lives and to their work. When we adopt a creative mindset, and when we create an expanded application of creative expression in our lives, everything changes. So I think that really as a society, we live primarily reactively. And what I want to do is teach people to understand that they can create their lives, that they are creators, and embrace that.
Wonderful. Love it. Love it. I love that thinking about it as everybody being creative. I really do. So when we think about this, how can employers create an environment that fosters and inspires creativity in the workplace?
You know, I think people need help to understand that there is tremendous opportunity for creativity in the workplace, and how that can work and what that means for them as individuals as well as within groups, because we work with other people. And it's in that work with other people that we have such a great opportunity to collectively understand and embrace creativity. So when I work with people in the workplace, sometimes they work with senior executive teams. I might work with the members of a department. In one case this year, I worked with all 90 employees in a tech startup. And what I do is I start by giving people a really dynamic expression, a chance to express and experience creativity. And it really, I would say, almost universally amazes people that they can create what they create. It's exciting, it's exhilarating, it opens them up in big ways. And then I teach them a little bit about the fundamentals that contribute to more creativity. And specifically in the workplace, what I want people to do is collectively appreciate that we are all creative and invite creativity. So how can that show up? If you're in a meeting, and typically you would say to yourself, well, I'm not really so creative and my idea might not be that exciting, you might hold it silent and never contribute it. If you and your colleagues agree that it is safe, that there will be no eye rolling, there will be no, humor, sarcasm, that everybody's ideas are welcome, and if we all contribute our ideas, I might, in one particular case, have a very small idea that I would otherwise never have spoken. And by bringing that to the group, it could be just a thing that sparks a huge idea for you. And this is the way that creativity can have a big, big impact in the workplace and make a big difference for individuals in addition.
So it sounds it's like really creating a safe environment and creating those conditions where people feel comfortable being able to contribute and
that's right,
openly, add to the conversation or the ideas.
It is. And what happens is that things accelerate. This starts to become a norm in a workplace, and the creative output, people can, instead of sort of going back to what's safe, data, what did we do last time, how did it work, and going from here to here, we can jump from here to here when everybody's contributing in a significant way.
Love it. That's really great.
Yeah.
Sounds like a wonderful environment that you can help create. So I'm curious, how do you think about the link between creativity and well-being?
This is a concept that really excites me. And since we've met and been talking about it, I've really been thinking about this, Mari, because for me, it's a natural fit. One of the key conditions that I referred to about the fundamentals we can pay attention to and cultivate in our lives to be more creative, the first one that I talk about is self-love. And I get questions all the time about that. What does that mean? Isn't that really a little selfish? And I say to the contrary. It's really, really crucial to our well-being, as well as to our creative fluidity, if you will, that we believe in ourselves, that we love ourselves, that we appreciate how great we are, what our gifts are, our skills and our talents and all of our qualities. It's really important to feel deserving of time for ourselves, deserving of good nutrition, taking care of ourselves well, getting enough sleep. It's important that we love ourselves and take the time to slow down and think and consider and stop living reactively. And this is one of the ways that we can reduce a lot of the stress that so many of us are incredibly habituated to. Mm-hmm. So when we consciously can bring more self-love, awareness and practice of self-love, it also helps us to counteract the incredibly damaging influence of our self-critic, because we all have a self-critic and it always wants to sabotage us. So let me give you an example. If you realize that you tend to compare yourself to other people, that's a way that your self-critic can influence you. And if you've been practicing self-love and you really appreciate your gifts, it's much easier to say, I don't need to feel less than somebody else. I can feel great about who I am. Mm-hmm. Another example is when we try to, aim for perfection, because perfectionism is a huge limitation. And so self-love, again, can be, I'm going to put my best foot out there. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it's going to be terrific. And I think the biggest one is this fear of failure. And so if we love ourselves enough, we can be bold enough and be fearless enough to say, failure will not kill me. Failure can teach me something. Failure is something I can laugh at. Failure is something that I can move on from. And in all these ways, we can create more effectively and bring much, much more well-being into our lives, both in our workplaces and certainly in our personal lives.
Love it. Love it. So those are all wonderful, wonderful reasons for people to really try and find those elements in, what makes them feel good, feel creative, be able to express some of those interests, whatever they may be, for themselves. Exactly. I know personally, I've been on that journey for a number of years. With some of my own, I literally said to someone once, they came to my home and said, oh, look at how beautiful this is and how creative you are. And I went, I'm not creative. Mm-hmm. And I didn't recognize it in myself. And once I really started to recognize it in myself and could see how it was tied to my well-being, then I really got exactly what you just stated, is it really is essential for our well-being.
It enriches our lives in such beautiful and important ways. Yeah,
it certainly does. Yeah. Well, and that's what we want to see happening for everyone, is finding ways to enrich their lives, enriching their well-being, and living happy, healthy lives.
Yes.
It's great. Well, Rochelle, thank you for your insights on this and this real important link of what employers can do in the workplace to foster creativity, how it links to well-being. And if folks watching this video today want to follow up with you or learn more about your work, where can they find more information?
Well, I have a website. It's RochelleSeltzer.com. I invite you to come and look at it. There's some information about the work I do with individuals in my coaching, the work that I do with groups, the work that I do with teams and companies. And if anybody has questions, I also always welcome a conversation.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing your time with our
My pleasure.
viewers. It's delightful, as always, to spend time with you.
Thanks, Mari.